Marcus sat in the corner booth of the small cafe, scrolling through his phone while his coffee cooled beside him. At 34, he had achieved everything he set out to accomplish. His software company had gone public last year, making him wealthy beyond his youthful dreams. Yet sitting here alone on a Tuesday afternoon, he felt strangely empty. The cafe was charming in its simplicity, tucked away on a quiet street he rarely traveled. He had discovered it by accident, taking a different route to avoid traffic. Something about the warm lighting and handwritten menu board drew him inside. He was reading an email when he heard a small voice nearby. "Excuse me, mister." Marcus looked up to find a little girl standing beside his table. She could not have been more than 4 years old, with blonde hair pulled into pigtails and bright, curious eyes. She wore a pink dress and clutched a worn stuffed rabbit. "Hello there," Marcus said, smiling despite himself. "Are you lost?" The girl shook her head solemnly. "Mama says I should not bother customers." "But you look sad." Marcus was taken aback by her directness. "I am not sad, just thinking." "Mama says thinking too much makes people forget to smile," the girl said with the confidence of someone sharing profound wisdom. Before Marcus could respond, a woman's voice called from behind the counter. "Lily, sweetheart, what did I tell you about wandering off?" Marcus glanced toward the voice and froze. Sarah. She stood behind the counter in a simple apron, her dark hair pulled back, wiping her hands on a towel. When her eyes met his, all color drained from her face. 5 years. It had been 5 years since he had seen her. Since the morning he had walked out of their small apartment with a suitcase and a list of excuses about needing to focus on his career, about not being ready for commitment, about her wanting things he could not give. He had been 29 then, driven and ambitious, terrified of being tied down when his company was just starting to gain traction. Sarah had wanted stability, talks of marriage and children, a future he had convinced himself would derail his dreams. So he had left. Cowardly, he realized now. He had simply left. "Lily, come here, please," Sarah said, her voice carefully controlled. The little girl looked between Marcus and her mother, sensing the sudden tension. "Did I do something wrong?" "No, sweetheart. Just come here." As Lily walked toward the counter, Marcus did quick mental math. 4 years old. 5 years since he left. His heart began to pound. Sarah picked up Lily and held her close, her expression unreadable. For a long moment, neither adult spoke. The cafe, which had been quietly bustling moments before, seemed to hold its breath. Marcus stood slowly, his phone forgotten. "Sarah, you should finish your coffee," Sarah interrupted, her voice polite but distant. "Lily, say goodbye to the customer." Lily waved her small hand. "Bye, mister." But as Sarah turned to walk away, Lily looked over her mother's shoulder at Marcus. Her eyes studied his face with that uncanny perception children sometimes possess. Then, in a voice that shattered the careful calm, she asked, "Mama, why does he look like the picture?" Sarah stopped walking. "What picture, baby?" Sarah's voice was tight. "The picture in your drawer. The one you look at sometimes when you are sad." Marcus watched Sarah's shoulders stiffen. Slowly, she set Lily down and knelt to her daughter's level. "Lily, can you go to the back room and color for a few minutes? Mama needs to talk to someone." "But please, sweetheart, just for a little while." Lily looked uncertain but nodded, walking toward a door behind the counter. Before disappearing, she glanced back at Marcus one more time, her small face thoughtful. Sarah stood slowly, took a deep breath, and finally turned to face Marcus fully. The cafe had other customers, but she seemed to have forgotten them all. "We should talk," she said quietly. "Not here." "Can you wait until I close?" "Another hour?" Marcus nodded, unable to find words. The next hour was the longest of Marcus's life. He sat in that corner booth, his coffee long cold, watching Sarah move through her cafe with practiced efficiency. She took orders, made drinks, chatted with customers, all while carefully avoiding looking in his direction. He studied her, noting the changes 5 years had brought. She was thinner, her face holding a weariness that had not been there before. But there was also a strength in the set of her shoulders, a confidence in her movements. Through the back room door, he occasionally glimpsed Lily, coloring at a small table. Each time, his heart clenched with a question he was terrified to ask. Finally, Sarah flipped the sign to closed and locked the door. She disappeared into the back room for a moment, and Marcus heard her speaking softly to Lily. Then an older woman emerged, holding Lily's hand. "Say good night." "Lily!" Sarah called. "Good night, Mama!" Lily chirped, waving. As the older woman led her toward a back exit, Lily looked at Marcus again. "Good night, mister, who looks like the picture." Then they were gone, and Marcus was alone with Sarah in the quiet cafe. Sarah poured herself a cup of coffee and sat down across from him, her hands wrapped around the mug as though seeking warmth. "How old is she?" Marcus asked, though he already knew. 4. She turned 4 last month." "Sarah, do not," Sarah said sharply. "Do not ask me the question you are thinking. Not yet." "Let me speak first." Marcus nodded, his throat tight. Sarah took a shaky breath. "I found out I was pregnant 2 weeks after you left. I tried to call you, but your number was disconnected. I went to your office, but the receptionist said you were traveling indefinitely, not taking meetings. I even tried emailing, but they all bounced back." "I changed everything," Marcus said quietly, shame washing over him. "New number, new email. I wanted a clean break." "Yes, well, you got one," Sarah said bitterly. "I was alone, pregnant, and terrified. My parents helped at first, but they passed away in a car accident when Lily was 1. Since then, it has been just the 2 of us." Marcus felt sick. "I am so sorry." "Sorry does not change the past," Sarah said. "I managed. I worked 2 jobs until Lily was born. After my parents left me a small inheritance, I used it to open this cafe. It is not much, but it is ours. Lily and I, we have built a life." "She is mine, is not she?" Marcus asked, the words barely audible. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, Lily is your daughter." The confirmation, though expected, still hit Marcus like a physical blow. He had a daughter, a 4-year-old little girl who had grown up without knowing him, without him even knowing she existed. "Why did you keep my picture?" he asked. Sarah wiped her eyes. "For Lily," she asked about her father when she turned 3. "I did not know what to tell her. I did not want to poison her against you, but I could not exactly paint you as a hero either, so I told her you had to go away, that you did not know about her. I showed her one picture so she would know what you looked like. I never expected her to recognize you, but she did." "Children are perceptive," Sarah said. "She has your eyes, your smile. She must have seen the resemblance." Marcus looked toward the back room where Lily had disappeared. "What do we do now? We?" Sarah laughed without humor. "Marcus, there is no we. There has not been for 5 years. You made that choice." "I made a mistake," Marcus said urgently. "Sarah, I have spent 5 years building a company, making money, achieving success. And you know what? None of it means anything. I sit in board meetings and close deals and I feel nothing. I have everything I thought I wanted, and I am miserable." "That is not my problem," Sarah said, but her voice lacked conviction. "No, it is not," Marcus agreed. "But Lily is my daughter. That is my responsibility, my privilege. Sarah, I know I have no right to ask anything of you, but please let me know her. Let me be part of her life." Sarah was quiet for a long moment, staring into her coffee. "She is everything to me, Marcus. My whole world. I have worked so hard to give her stability, to make her feel safe and loved. I will not let you disrupt that." "I do not want to disrupt it," Marcus said. "I want to support it. I want to be there for both of you. You left once. What is to stop you from leaving again when things get difficult?" Marcus had no easy answer for that. "Nothing except my word. And I know my word means nothing to you right now, so let me prove it. Let me show you slowly that I have changed, that I understand what matters now." Sarah studied him, her expression guarded. "If I allow this, and that is a big if, there will be rules. Lily comes first always. You do not get to storm into her life and then disappear when you get bored. You do not get to make promises you cannot keep. I understand. And you do not get to use your money to try to buy her affection or make me feel inadequate. Sarah, I would never—" "You do not know what it has been like," Sarah said, her voice breaking. "Struggling to pay rent while caring for a newborn. Staying up all night when she had colic because I had no one to help. Missing her first steps because I was working double shifts. I have given her everything I have, and it still never feels like enough. You have done an incredible job, Marcus said sincerely. Lily is beautiful, bright, curious. That is all because of you. Sarah wiped her eyes again. She is pretty amazing, is not she? She is, just like her mother. They sat in silence, the weight of 5 years and 1,000 unsaid words hanging between them. I need time to think about this, Sarah finally said. This is not a decision I can make in one night. Of course, Marcus said. Take all the time you need. Can I give you my number? The real one this time? Sarah hesitated, then nodded. They exchanged information, their fingers careful not to touch. Marcus, Sarah said as he stood to leave. Why did you really come to this cafe today? Of all the places in the city, why here? Marcus thought about it. I do not know. Wrong turn, maybe, or maybe it was meant to happen. I do not believe in fate, Sarah said. Neither did I, Marcus replied. But maybe we have both been wrong about a lot of things. Over the next few weeks, Marcus and Sarah talked cautiously, building a fragile bridge across the chasm of hurt. He learned about Lily's favorite books, her fear of thunderstorms, her love of strawberries. Sarah learned about his company, his empty penthouse, his growing realization that success without connection was just another form of poverty. Eventually, Sarah agreed to let Marcus meet Lily properly. They chose a Saturday morning at a park, neutral ground where Lily could play while the adults talked. Marcus arrived early, his hands shaking. When Sarah arrived with Lily, the little girl looked at him with open curiosity. Lily, Sarah said gently, kneeling beside her daughter. Remember how I told you your daddy had to go away before you were born? This is him. This is your daddy. Lily studied Marcus seriously. You look like the picture. I know, Marcus said, his voice thick. I am sorry I was not here before. That is okay, Lily said with the easy forgiveness of children. You are here now. Do you want to play on the swings? And just like that, with the simple wisdom of a 4-year-old, Lily showed them all what mattered most. Not the past, not the missed years, but the present moment and the choice to move forward. Marcus pushed his daughter on the swings that day, her delighted laughter filling the air. Sarah watched them, her expression complex but softening. It was not a fairy tale ending. There were still difficult conversations ahead, legal matters to resolve, trust to rebuild. But as Marcus watched Lily's golden pigtails flying in the sunlight, he knew he had been given an extraordinary gift. A second chance. Not to erase the past, but to build a better future. Higher, Daddy, Lily called, and Marcus's heart soared with the simple word, Daddy. He had been called many things in his life. CEO, entrepreneur, millionnaire. But no title had ever meant as much as that one word, spoken by the little girl he had not known existed until she looked up at him in a small cafe and changed everything. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming tales of second chances and family. Leave a comment sharing your own story of unexpected reunions or the power of forgiveness. We would love to hear from you.